Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cocktails and Rocktails with me, your most notorious groupie, Alice Rouse, author of this little book, not so little. I thought it was 573 pages. According to Amazon, it's in the 600. Not even half the fucking story, you guys. So those who don't know, who haven't read it, who are just joining, go down, just like it was the back lounge of a tour bus in the 80s. Hit that... Blah, blah, blah. Hit the links to my books, to my merchandise, everything, because I've got these little books right here too. Tongue-in-cheek, just fun. Don't take them too seriously. Never do, guys. But anyway, all right, you guys. And as always, thank you to everybody here that's either watching, that's part of the family, that's commenting, that's being so awesome. To the lurkers who are just hanging out, you guys fucking rock too. I know who some of you are, and you are just fucking awesome. I think it's cool you're here. And you can join the family. You can lurk. It's okay. You're all part of the family to me. So today, in speaking part of the family, you guys, you saw her before. Guess who's back? Oh, we got Miss Sophia. I love Sophia. And we are going to talk about, because you know, when the Golden Girls left, Dorothea got married. It was like the band, our favorite band, breaking up. Our favorite group of old sluts breaking up. That's going to be the subject today, you guys. It's going to be about some of the 50... Now, this is a Rolling Stone list, the 50th nastiest band breakups in the history of rock and roll. So, we're going to do a few on this list. I'm going to kind of scan through and see what we've got. Because some of them I've already read, like One Direction. Oh, Zayn, I just didn't really want to go in the direction of the band. And, you know, I tried to write original stuff and... Boo fucking who? What did you expect being in a boy band? And look who the most successful one is after One Direction split up. Hey, Harry. Now that's a success story because, you know, the most talented one in the band is always going to be the most successful. So that tells me a lot about Zayn. Not that that was any type of... Because I was definitely way too old. I was in my 40s when those guys came out. But I digress. All right, you guys, and today we're finishing off because this is a really fucking big beer. I mean, I'm not even halfway through it. I'm just going to be tipsy as fuck by the end of this. So everybody, grab your Sophias, grab your choladas, kick up your feet, and let's hear some little horror stories of cocktails and rocktails. Cheers, big ears. Sophia, you give great head. I love it. She always has a surprise in her brain. Don't we all? Okay, so we're going to start with the Beach Boys, because this did get a little ugly. So the Beach Boys put decades of resentment and bruising legal battles in 2012 to reunite for a 50th anniversary tour. Yeah, because getting a band back together that broke up, not easy. And especially these guys, because they really did not like each other. So, okay. So they had all their lawyers banging the tables to try and get a reunion tour in 2012. So, okay, fans were overjoyed to see the estranged cousins, Brian Wilson and Mike Love, finally sharing the stage and belting out the classics along Al Jardine, David Marks, and Bruce Johnston. But in September that year, Love announced a series of shows with his own version of the Beach Boys, meaning the reunion was over much before the world had a chance to see it. As we move on, Bruce and I look forward to performing live for the Beach Boys fans everywhere. Love said in a statement, the 50th reunion tour was designed to be a set tour with a beginning and an end to mark a special 50-year milestones for the Beach Boys. Brian Wilson responded with an op-ed in the Los Angeles Times. What's confusing is that Mike not wanting or letting Al, David, and me tour with the band. Oh, so they didn't bang everything out. They banged a couple members out and called it the Beach Boys. Kind of like another tour where, you know, that's happening today because, I'm sorry, CNN, Charlie Benante is not the motherfucking drummer of Pantera. Way to wipe out Vincent Paul and the legacy he created, assholes. Okay, so he didn't want or let the rest of the guys tour with the band, so he basically... Oh, so I wonder if he owns the name, and that's why the legal wrangling. Oh, whoever owns the name, it gets ugly, let me tell ya. Okay. So, uh, Brian Wilson goes on, it sort of feels like we're being fired. I'm left wondering why he doesn't want to continue with this great trip we're on. Al and I wanted to keep going because we believe we owe it to the music. The surviving Beach Boys appeared together a handful of times for promotional events in the years that followed, but they've yet to play a single song. Odds are high they never will again. No, they probably won't. And that's kind of a nasty breakup because they're all related. Brothers or cousins and all that stuff. So that's awkward at Grandma and Grandpa's funeral. And at each other's. Okay, let's see what was Simon and Garfunkel. No, that doesn't look fun. Pussycat Dolls, were they really a band? Or just an over-auto-tuned bunch of girls dressed like strippers? No. So I don't care about that, Nasty. Destiny's Child, that was just destiny to break that up because where would we be without Lady Beyonce, the queen? Okay, let's go into Styx. Because these guys sound, as a groupie, I never cared because they seemed more like they'd be boring as a box of rocks. So, Dennis DeYoung formed the band that became Styx in the early 60s with his elementary school buddies Chuck and John Panazzo. Guitarist J.Y. Young joined in 1970 and Tommy Shaw, another guitarist, rounded out the classic lineup in 1975. DeYoung and Shaw wrote and sang all the group's hits, including Come Sail Away, Renegade, and Mr. Roboto. Oh, I loved Mr. Roboto. Toma Ericato, Mr. Roboto. Who didn't love that fucking song in the 80s? Oh, God, yeah. Bring that back. All right. But personal and musical differences led the group splintering. Okay, I keep getting these fucking ad pop-ups. I keep moving my paragraphs. Okay, so the personal and musical differences led to the group splintering in the early 80s. They reformed in 1996 for a successful reunion tour, but in 1999, DeYoung contracted a viral illness that made him sensitive to light, delaying their touring plans. Ooh. Oh, that wouldn't be good, because as a musician on stage, what are you surrounded by? Above your head, beneath your feet, and to the sides of you? Lighting. Oh, damn. Oh, that sucks. Oh, they better not have been mean to him. He wasn't able to control that. Okay. So where are we? Frustrated by waiting in the difficult process of creating their 1999 LP, Brave New World, the group kicked DeYoung out and replaced him with keyboardist-singer Lawrence Gowan. DeYoung sued them the following year. They have taken the band's name and excluded me from the decision-making process, he said. I have asked for a meeting since July of '98, and the response I've gotten is there is no interest in talking. A deal was eventually worked out where the band could carry on without him, and even though DeYoung recovered many years ago and has said he would love to come back for at least one last tour, that doesn't seem likely. Yeah, after you sue your bandmates, that's like fucking your girlfriend's mom. You guys are not getting back together. At least not in this world. We're just different people with different desires and different... This is what Tommy Shaw... Oh, in retrospect, we weren't even happy working with each other in our heyday, Tommy Shaw told Rolling Stone in 2011. We're just different people with different desires and different visions of how things should be. God, it was such an unhappy place. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. We're crazy, but we're not insane. You know who needs to listen to this? Metallica. You guys don't like each other. You are so far different as people. There's 3 people in one camp and douchebag and the girlfriend in another. And I don't mean James is a douchebag, but he is a douchebag if he's putting his fucking piece of shit girlfriend before his kids. So, kind of sounds familiar of what's happening now. They don't even stay at the same hotel anymore. I mean, there would definitely be a lawsuit. And if you feel you have to get a lawsuit going, that's fucked up. That's really fucked up. Okay, but that's not the ugliest breakup. Blink 182. Okay, now this Pearl Jam with Dave Abruzzi. Okay, so let's talk about how Pearl Jam threw Dave Abruzzi out. Pearl Jam were at the pinnacle of their success when Cameron Crowe met up with them for the 1993 Rolling Stone cover story. What he found was a band very uncomfortable with their success, unwilling to release singles or even shoot a video for MTV, but we all know they did. There's lots of fucking videos. Just like Metallica refused to because they made it on their own volition until the managers and everybody else started coming in and making decisions for the band. Yeah. I remember when they made their first video. It was controversial. Danny and I knew about it before the rest of the world because they told us. So that was kind of really around that time, that was kind of the attitude towards grunge and MTV. They were like, fuck you. But Metallica had it first. So the sole exception was drummer Dave Abruzes. We'll just call him Dave, who joined Pearl Jam in 1991 shortly after the recording of 10. To me, when I was younger and I heard about a band selling 1 million records, I thought the band would get together and jump up and down for at least a minute, he said, and just go, wow, I can't believe it. But it doesn't happen with this band. Not that way. But again, grunge was exactly anti all that. That's what grunge was about. So you expected to join Pearl Jam and have jumping and joying in flannels? No. Even I would know that. They're more kind of like if you ever see the movie Singles and they're all watching PBS, yeah, that's pretty much. Okay. So, but what are you getting all pissy about because they didn't want to bounce up and down and enjoy yourself? It doesn't mean the rest of the band has to join you, motherfucker. What you being all baby about? Okay. That didn't me. I flip out. I jump up and down by myself. Dave remained an outsider throughout his time in Pearl Jam, which, yeah, I don't really remember too much about Dave the times I hung around Eddie Vedder and the Pearl Jam and, in Seattle when I lived there. I do not remember Dave being around like everybody else was around. So, yeah, that's kind of, yeah, I can get that. So, he remained an outsider, which came to an abrupt end 3 years later in 1994 when he was fired. Dave was a different egg for sure, bassist Jeff Ahmet said. There were a lot of things, personality-wise, where I didn't see eye to eye with him. He was more comfortable being a rock star than the rest of us, partying, girls, cars. The grunge guys need to own up. You had just as many groupies. I saw it firsthand. I was one of them. Me and my friends. I lived in Seattle. Just because they live there doesn't mean they're not groupies. So, trust me. So, Jeff Ahmet, you're kind of being hypocritical there. So, I can see where that tension would get pretty bad. So, he was, okay. I don't know if anybody else was in the same space. The firing left Dave shattered, and the wound was reopened in 2016 when he learned he would not be entering the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with his former bandmates. Well, if he was there for 3 years, he played a significant part in their best albums. Because where are they now with albums and stuff? What are they doing? Nothing great like their first 2 albums. So they should have been there. He should have been there, just like Jason, was. Jason, So I can see that. That's a bunch of petty bullshit that they're doing. That's bullshit. So he would not be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with his former bandmates. The members of Pearl Jam have got to know what's the right thing to do, he wrote online. They cannot justify just ignoring my contributions, like me or not. When the big night came, Dave was nowhere to be seen. I have to agree with him on that. I have to agree. I would be pissed about that. Like, okay, so what, he was fired. But he should have been there because, like I said, he played the most significant part of Pearl Jam. And it sounds like Jeff and them were just as petty. Boys, come on now. All right, we're going to keep scrolling. We see Cream, Journey, and Steve Perry. So now this, because we all know how I feel that I always talk about Neil Sean from Journey being a total dick. So, okay, let's see what this one's about. In 1987, near the height of Journey's success, frontman Steve Perry decided he didn't want to be in a rock band anymore. Okay. So Neil may be a dick, but Steve Perry's a big fucking baby from what I heard. Like, he would definitely cry after sex and call his mommy to say he's been a dirty, dirty boy. So, okay. He didn't want to be in a rock band anymore. So you make that decision. It's one thing when you guys don't get along, you break up, you decide to go your separate ways. But when you decide you just don't want to be in it anymore, then fucking walk away. He came back a little under a decade later for the successful reunion album, Trial by Fire. A massive arena tour was in the early stages of development when Perry went hiking in Hawaii and experienced severe hip pain, and soon learned he'd likely require hip replacement surgery. That happens. You know. Okay. For the next several months, Perry considered his medical options and put the tour on hold indefinitely. The wait was agonizing for his bandmates. They wanted to make a decision on the surgery. Perry told Rolling Stone in 2018, but I didn't feel it was a group decision. Oh, but it is, Stephen Perry. It is. It's a group decision. It's called a band. It's called a group. A rock band, a rock group. Like I said, you get a total dick and an absolute baby in the same band, ain't nothing gonna go right there. So they wanted me, and you know what, Stephen Perry? To have the fucking surgery, you can run around stage a hell of a lot better. You know what I mean? Oh, something went wrong. Hold on. You know, I mean, why were you being such a big baby about hip surgery? It's done 1,000,000 times a day and around the world. Trust me, my mom had double hip replacement, and that woman was so much better afterwards. No more pain, no more nothing. So he probably got a little pain. Mommy. Anyway. And it was not a group decision when to have it, but it was up to you to respect your bandmates. But I didn't feel it was a group decision. Then I was told on the phone that they needed to know when I was going to do it because they had checked out some new singers. Perry felt that his bandmates were trying to corner him, and they were. Absolutely. In a dick move. I said to them, do you do what you need to do, but don't call it Journey, he said. If you fracture a stone, I don't know how I could come back to it. Oh, how dramatic, Steve Perry. It's now a quarter century later, and Perry is stuck to his word. That's just a bunch of spoiled little fucktards. Button heads. But you know what? I have to sign on the rest of the guys in the band because he's hemming and hawing months and months down the road. They've got contracts. They have concerts. They're trying to set up gigs. They're trying to book hotel rooms. They're trying to get Oris and the rest of the road crew in there. And no, there's one guy. One guy. Again, something James Hetfield needs to learn. Let's go keeping down. So the Libertines. Oh, that's Pete Daughtry, who we all know from Kate Moss. All right, let's see what was the Talking Heads. No, that doesn't even sound... I'm trying to find some good ones. All right, let's do New Order, because we don't hear too much about New Order. If you were born in the 80s and you listened to New Wave like we all did, because it was, you know, the new wave of British music and stuff like that coming in. All right, so let's see what New Order was up to. New Order were a pretty cushy situation at the turn of the millennium. While most of their 1980s peers were playing casinos and state fairs, struggling to find any traction, they were scoring genuine hits like Crystal and heading massive festivals. All they had to do was keep their shit together, and the three of them could have kept raking it in for decades. But no, bassist Peter Hook was still bitter that the guitar singer Bernard Sumner formed the side project Electronic with ex-Smiths guitarist Johnny Marr in 1991. Get over it, James Hetfield. I mean, what's your name from New Order? Again, let's talk about what happened with James Hetfield and Jason, because Jason wanted to do a side project. Oh, but then James went and did something. That's right. So that's in that vein. This is in this vein. Ooh, this is going to be good. So you have one guy who controls the band, as we call him, De Fuhrer. Every band has one. I've talked about it. Glenn Tipton, James. Everybody thinks it's Lars. No, it's not. So no, just because you're the best business-minded one in the band doesn't mean you control it. Vinnie Paul of Pantera, which we're gonna get to that because I was there for that one. All right, it's not on the list, but I'll talk about it. All right, so Bernard Sumner. So Peter Hook was still bitter that Bernard and the ex-Smiths guy formed a different band, and Sumner and the drummer Stephen Morris were pissed that Hook bought the rights to the music recorded at the Manchester's iconic Hacienda Club and released it as part of a 2006 compilation. Oh, so you bought the rights to something that was a band thing. Oh, that is a dick move. No, you should all get equal rights in that. You know what I mean? That's live. That's not like you're writing new songs, because when songs are written, the person who writes them gets the majority of the royalties. So, but that's a live show. You should have equal royalties for that. All of this contributed to the tension on their tour that year. When it wrapped, Hook said the band was ending via MySpace. Ooh, that was old. MySpace post? So all this contributed to tension on their tour that year. When it wrapped, Hook said the band was ending via a MySpace post. After 30 years in a band together, we are very disappointed that Hookie has decided to go to the press and announce unilaterally that New Order have split up. Sumner and Morris said in a group statement. That is another dick move. Okay, I wouldn't want to be in band with him. It's like that's all of you guys is 30 years. That's your live stuff. And you, in a dick move, don't give the rights to everybody? Or you don't buy them out for what should be their rights? That's messed up. So we would have hoped that he could have approached us personally first. Because again, he goes on to say, yeah, we're not, New Order's over. Fuck it, fuck this. And the other two guys are going, it is? Okay, another dick move right there. So that's a pretty low move to break up the band. So, okay, we would have hoped he could have approached us personally first. He does not speak for all the band, and therefore we can only assume he no longer wants to be part of New Order. When New Order returned to life in 2011 without Hook, a nasty legal battle kicked off, and over a decade later, they still haven't spoken. I wouldn't want to speak to that asshole either. Okay, we're going to do the Black Crowes because everybody knows, whether you're a groupie, whether you're a fan, whether you're just hanging out in the crowd, these two were the original Oasis brothers. The OG Gallagher brothers. The Black Crowes, Chris and Rich Robinson, those two, I saw them fight. I saw them be assholes. I saw them just be dicks to each other. Yeah. So when Oasis and the Black Crowes hit the road together, God, what was that tour called? Brothers in Battle? Or fucking MTV? What was that one with the claymation where they had boxing ring fights? That should have been the name of that tour. Okay, so when they hit the road together in the summer of 2001, they jokingly called the tour Brotherly Love. Oh, tongue-in-cheek, that's hilarious. That's because the brothers at the core of both bands had spent the past decade fighting like maniacs. Chris and Rich Robinson dissolved the band just a few months later, reunited it 3 years after that, then saw it collapse yet again in 2015. Rich Robinson said it came down to a business dispute. I love my brother and respect his talent, he said, but his present demand that I must give up my equal share of the band and that our drummer for 28 years and original partner Steve Gorman relinquish 100% of his rights. What? Reducing him to his salaried employee. Oh, fuck no. Fuck no. Fuck no. No. Not even Robert Trujillo is salaried anymore. He probably doesn't get as much as the other three, but still a lot. So that's a dick move. And that sounds, what was this, 2001? Oh, good Lord. In 2001, that was probably his Kate Hudson years. So in 2017, And, and rightfully so, Stephen Gorman says, this is something I could not agree to. And I totally agree with him. 28 years in the band, or OG drummer? No. There's equality there that should be there. So in 2017, Chris Robinson told Rolling Stone he had no interest in a reunion. I plan on, at some point, singing those songs, he said, but not with any of those people. Again, that's awkward at Grandma and Grandpa's house, I'm sure, both ways. Family's family, business is business, but music is music. And that music has been tainted to me by behavior and attitudes. Not yours at all, Chris. No, it wasn't the whole fucking, people recording Karens. Like, who's really being the fucking Karen there? So who's being the Karen here? I'm going to say all of you. You're all fucking petty. And that music, okay, actions, you know what I mean? Money's never motivated me, said Chris. It's not going to start now, says the only one who's married actresses, the famous actress that played a groupie. Yeah, money, fame, it's not for me. Please, Chris, come on now. You like your house, you like your big cars, you liked your Beverly Hills lifestyle. Being the first of 3 baby daddy for Kate Hudson. I have no respect for her. The band came back 2 years later for a reunion tour. Tickets were not cheap. Well, yeah, because you kind of get a double ticket there. You get not only good music, but you also get courtside seats to a really cool rock and roll WWF show. Okay, and I think we're going to stop on that one on this list because there's a lot of stuff. It's like, like I say, a lot of these lists are kind of boring, rehashed, a bunch of bullshit. We're going to talk about something I have talked about before. A breakup that got really fucking nasty, and I don't need any goddamn list to talk about this because I was there, with Vincent Paul. That breakup was bad. Like Phil doing his heroin, Vinnie Paul holding the grudge, being angry because, he worked his ass off. He fucking worked at McDonald's for Pantera to support the band. He got his dad to use the recording studio. I know it was his dad and stuff, but his dad, Jerry, instilled some good work ethics into Vincent Paul. And Vincent Paul supported that band and made that band what it was. This bullshit that's going on now is a disgrace to Vincent Paul and everything he did with that band. And Charlie Benante again being called the drummer of Pantera, absolutely fucking disgrace. Totally just wiped out Vincent Paul. And Zach, you're disgusting. That's the Pantera that needs to break up. The Pantera that I saw, like I said, it was like there was 2 different buses. There was Vinny and Dime's bus and there was Rex's and Phil's bus. And there was just no talking unless you were on stage. Phil would go with his, hoodie on and his robe and acted like, I'm not some fucking spoiled rock star like the brothers. Oh, the fuck you weren't, Phil. You had your tea and your helpers and everything and your, like I said, your cushy little robe with the head with the hoodie on it and everything and your weed and your drugs and your groupies and whatever. You had it all. And you were so horrible to Vincent Paul. Like, it was so uncomfortable that when they broke up, I was almost like, thank God. I was totally heartbroken. But I was like, thank God, because it was just getting so ugly out on the road. And nobody was talking, and the road crew was even being torn in parts. Thank God they had their own bus because, yeah, they were just pitting everybody against each other. It was about to get WWF one night in fucking Las Vegas after the show. I mean, there was a reason Vin took off and did his own thing a lot because he just didn't want it. He was just a silent businessman. He was always taking care of things. But, where it really got ugly was even after the breakup. The shit Phil was saying in the press, the stuff Vinny was saying back, and Vinny even kept it cool. He kept it somewhat restrained with what Vinny was saying in the press and what he was really saying outside of the press. But what Rex did in his book saying Vinny never gets laid and all this stuff, whatever, you fucking broke down Wish version of the creepy Uncle Steve Buscemi wannabe. I mean, that was ugly. So that was just low-balling bullshit ugly. And that's how Phil and Rex got. Not Diamond, Vincent, Paul, but Phil and Rex. They made that breakup dirty. They made the end of that band pretty disgusting. And even what they're doing now is they are fucking Vincent Paul up the ass. Because you notice how it never happened while Vin was alive, because Vin had the rights. But they were all left to Rita. So Rita made this decision. Because Dime would have been forgiving, but she forgot that Vincent Paul wasn't. And I can't wait for every single one of you guys to implode. Excuse me. I cannot wait to watch you guys implode. Because, Charlie Bedante, if it's not eating you up alive, that you are just totally replacing Vincent Paul and everything he did to get into Pantera to where it was, to even in the early 2000s, late 90s, when there was no other metal band, even Metallica was not chopping. Pantera topped Metallica on the charts then. Vincent Paul kept Metallica relevant. It was Phil and Rex and their attitude and their spoiled little bitch ways and their drug habits and their hate even afterwards. And funny because, here's the thing. Rex wouldn't have had money set aside if it wasn't for Vincent Paul, because Vincent Paul taught him how to invest. First, it was a strip club. And then, of course, he married some chick from Brazil. They're not money hungry. Not as many. I take that, just because I know a lot of really amazing women from Brazil who are independent, wonderful women. But if you're going to marry a broke down Wish version of Steve Buscemi, then you're fucking money hungry. Yeah. But yeah, so that was the breakup of Pantera. It was a lot of things that, and Phil just took off and started playing music elsewhere. He wouldn't even come around during the recording of Southern Trendkill and all that. So he was putting a damper in it because he knew that was the only way to throw a fucking 2-year-old style fit. That was the only way to control his role, his Pantera, because he wanted control of it. Well, Vinny wasn't necessarily controlling. He was guiding it to what it became. And without Vincent Paul, Pantera never would have been who they were. It was all his orchestration. And Phil him and his big swinging dick, because he does have a big dick. But I've seen it. I wouldn't let it in me because, Jesus Christ, I don't want to sneeze to come out. But no, I wouldn't let him in because Phil never turned me on. And that was before Vinny and I got together. It's another episode, one of the very first ones where I talk about very first meeting Pantera. But anyway, so yeah, that to me is probably the ugliest one I've saw because it's still going on to this day. And what's even the ugliest part about it? This going on, they're acting like this is some big tribute. And, Phil's sitting there talking about my brothers. And, Rex is standing on the side of the stage. Yeah, and Zach's, and, he's just, and Charlie's just kind of going along for the ride. And they're acting, and that's the worst part, because they're just fucking making Vincent Paul spinning in his grave. Jesus Christ, like, what were those things that people used to snap that were the big trend, the spinners? I mean, seriously. Because they had to wait till Vincent Paul was dead to do him dirty even more. So, well done. Well done. But that to me, because I saw it and I saw what it did to Vin and I saw the aftermath and that it's still going on. The falseness of, well, our brothers, we miss our brothers. Fuck you. We all know what y'all said in the press about Vinny, in your books about Vinny, about Dime, about the breakup, when Dime was murdered, when Vincent Paul passed away, stuff like that. We all know that you were probably fucking happy when Vincent Paul sadly passed away because you knew you could finally get Pantera going again. Because Vincent Paul was never going to have it. Guys are still doing him dirty. Still doing him dirty. So fuck you, Phil and Rex. And go to hell, Zach. And by the way, Marie says her father still was a better guitar player than you ever were, Zach. So, all right. If you know, you know. So, okay, so that to me, dirtiest band breakup in rock and roll history. These other ones, yeah, a lot of typical stuff, except for that. Steve Perry, you are such a whiny little bitch. That guy doesn't just cry after sex. He goes in the corner and gets in the fetal position and begs for mercy. Calling his mama. Because that's, yeah, you're not just holding the band up. You're holding the whole tour. You're holding the booking agents. You're holding the road crew. You're holding everything up. That was a pretty fucking bitch move. It's not just about you, dude. If you wanted to walk away because he just didn't want to be here anymore, because that's why he walked away. Because he was a big fucking baby. So, okay, you guys, tell me what you think. Tell me some more nasty breakups, because I'm sure it's on that list. Because there was just so many on that list, I just didn't even want to go through them all. But tell me what you think, you guys. Tell me your stories. What did you see, my 80s ladies? Let your voices be heard. All right. Thank you again, guys, so much for tuning in, for making it to the end of the video. And you lurkers, everybody that's just joining us that hasn't subscribed yet, go down. Go down in that description to get my merchandise, the books, everything. The cocktail of the day when I do actually start making cocktails again. At least I'm still drinking. But all right, you guys, go down, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the share, and hit my bells. Me and Sophie will see you again on Cocktails and Rocktails. Cheers, big ears.